Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The true measure of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members." The impact of these words has never been greater than in today's reality. The way we support each other is important. We have witnessed this time and time again over the last year, as the most vulnerable among us has suffered greatly and the pandemic carries on. Welcome back to another informational video. In the first part of this series, All You Need to Know About the Developmentally Disabled, we talk about the two most important moments in history for people with developmental disabilities and what you can learn from it. Today we see people with developmental disabilities integrated in communities, enjoying their rights, living independently, and some even gracing the limelight for their contributions. However, it wasn't always like this. Not many years ago, this was not the reality for the developmentally disabled. How did the DD community rise up to the challenges and discrimination to be where they are now? Curious about what happened? Keep on watching and we'll walk you through it. The Community Mental Health Act. When you think about the mentally ill and mental institutions, these images may pop into your head. This is how it's usually portrayed in psychological thrillers or horror movies. It looks scary, right? Can you imagine the screams and the desperation? Can you feel the pain through these pictures? As terrifying as it sounds, this was the reality of the developmentally disabled 74 years ago. Unimaginable, yet it's the truth. It wasn't until 1963 that JFK put a stop to this madness by signing the Act of Deinstitutionalization after being aware of the continued crimes, the inhumane acts that occurred in mental institutions, exactly like the photo and as shown in the movies. The Community Mental Health Act was passed to provide federal funding to the community mental health centers in the United States. This act closed old-school mental institutions and provided developmentally disabled people community-based care, wherein they were treated while working and living in their homes in the community. The goal was to provide less restrictive settings, protect patients' civil rights. But does that mean the problems of the developmentally disabled are solved? No. Believe it or not, in 1998, President Reagan slashed the Mental Care Fund by 25%, which in effect lessened treatment services, putting 400,000 mentally disabled people in jail because of it, which in effect lessened treatment services. The problem of rising cases of mentally disabled people who were imprisoned could have easily been avoided with more quality health care services. Although Reagan's reduction in mental health care found that the DD community could be treated at home was a giant step in America's history. The first time the disabled could be at home inside the community would mean the first time you could visit a friend to meet his developmentally disabled child. That was indeed a big first step into integration, but not so big as the next one we're going to talk about, the ADA Act. Not all disabilities are equal, just like not every person is born the same. Wouldn't you agree? That's one of the main reasons why it's always been hard to integrate people with disabilities into society. The exact definition of what they can or what they cannot do is complicated for many people to handle. And ultimately, it means doors were closed for the developmentally disabled. It wasn't until 1986 that the National Council on Disability, an independent government agency, issued a report highlighting the many gaps in the federal law that made full participation in society and equal opportunities for employment impossible for many disabled Americans. The final coup de grace came in March of 1990, when a group of disability rights activists staged the historical Capitol Crawl. That day, disabled people pulled themselves up all 100 steps of the Capitol building to demonstrate the nation's lack of accessibility and inclusivity with a beautiful and powerful metaphor, giving the world ample proof of courage and determination. The goal was to achieve rights for disabled Americans. It was seen as the most important event that led to the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA. Ultimately, the Senate voted 76-6, and it paved the way for the bill's signing on July 26th by President Bush, who said, "Let the shameful wall of exclusion finally come tumbling down." Conclusion. Remember what Gandhi said? You can measure society by how it treats the vulnerable. The thing is that this principle applies to all people. It would be impossible for us to create a better community where there's no compassion and where integration doesn't exist. The fundamental challenges they face every day to the struggles coping during this pandemic, the DD community has always been at the forefront of a very big battle. Yet, they continue to trudge uphill and rise above it. The developmentally disabled have always been the why behind our what. They are the purpose that gives our work meaning. They are the reason behind our existence and motivation to push for a better system. 2 acts, signed pro-DD integration, could be perceived as the developmentally disabled having finally made it. But these are mere stepping stones, and we still have the future ahead of us. Now, it's your time to move. Get services. If you have a developmentally disabled family member who needs support, please click below or in the description to get uncompromised DSP services. Become one of our staff. Remember that the First Choice Family Services doors are always open for results-driven professionals. Feel free to show your support to the developmentally disabled community by donating or participating in our charity and campus ambassadors programs. Get involved. Be social. Finally, get in touch with us through our social media channels to be updated on the news in the DSP industry and the developmentally disabled community. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends in need of a job after you subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. And remember, First Choice Family Services is your information resource for the DSP industry. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you can stay connected.